Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel for another episode. Robbie the Painter here, and I'm excited about this episode. If you followed along a few days ago on the last episode we did one called Dorothy, and I'll put a link in the description down below. You can check that out. But it's basically Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. We've got the yellow brick road, and I just thought it turned out really good. Well, today I'm going to show you how to take this painting and add a few more things on it that I think are going to be fun. We are going to be adding faces to these trees. Just like in the 1939 movie, they had a haunted forest where Dorothy and the rest of the crew were walking through. There was faces on the trees in the forest, and I think we're going to try to do some apples. And this idea came from a good friend of mine. Thank you, Cosette. She mentioned this on my Facebook page. When I posted this picture, she said, you need faces on the trees and maybe some apples as well. So we're going to take that idea. Don't know how it's going to turn out. I'm hoping it turns out good, but you guys can use these ideas in your paintings. Again, take one of your paintings that you think is done. Maybe you've got a tree or two in your painting. Doesn't have to be Wizard of Oz to put a face on it. I will run the paint colors over here as usual. So glad you guys are here. Thank you. If you take a second and hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. If you like what I'm doing here, show me some love. Let's get into this. First thing we're going to do, stand back and look what you have on your trees as far as the bark and some of the lines. You're not going to be able to see faces, I think. At least I can't, when you're standing right up close. So I would suggest backing up about 6, 7, 8 feet and looking at it. You might see an eye or what could be a mouth. Start there. 9 times out of 10, you're going to see something that looks like you could make a face out of it. That's all we're looking for. Now we're going to turn it into a face. Take a little brown and black, mix it up. We're going to go for a dark color, something around here. Just going to kind of rough in a long hook nose. You guys are hearing sounds. The wind is blowing like 100 miles an hour outside. I kid you not. It is crazy. It's shaking the house. We get some strong winds here in the mountains where I live, but it's crazy tonight. I think we've got the basic elements here for a nose, mouth, and eyes. Let's come over to the other side, the other tree, and we'll do the same thing. Again, we're going to make sort of a hook nose, kind of a gnarly shape. When I put the bark on this tree, and you guys didn't get to see that because I actually did this background painting several years ago, but some of my other episodes on this channel, when I did start filming, you'll see I'm doing trees and sometimes I'm doing bark. And I'm just putting some highlights, just lines up and down the tree. That's all they are. But when you stand back, sometimes those patterns look like they could be a mouth. Especially if you're doing a knot hole or something like that. You do a little circle for your bark. That kind of stuff can be used if you want to do some fun things like faces in your paintings. Trees, rocks, whatever. Put some faces on them. I think we're going to move on to some highlights. Just going to take titanium white, lighten up this color we just mixed up, the brown and the black. Going to use that for our highlight color. We've got our dark color here. We've got a medium color here. And then down at the bottom, I'm going to lighten this up even more. We'll get a highlight color. Let's go into our medium color. We're going to say the nose is darkest at the bottom, and near the top, there'd be some highlight. I might take a liner brush, use that right at the top of the nose to kind of put the highlight on. Let's go into titanium white. See if this is too bright. Just follow this, the crest of the nose, top of it, all the way down to the end. A little bright. So what we're going to do is we take our liner brush that we're using and just keep brushing that titanium white we just put on, and it will soften it up. Go into some black. Bottom of this nose is going to be darkest. And then where the crease is, right here, we're going to make this dark. So that area on your nose right here, see how there's a shadow? I know my nose is big, but it's the only reference I have right now. So, whoa! Go ahead and laugh. Right here next to your nostril, there's that shadow. That's what we're doing right here. And then the top of my nostril right here is highlighted. Under here, dark, highlights at the top. That's kind of what we're doing. I just grabbed some Indian yellow, maybe a little titanium white, kind of our yellow brick road color. Not even sure I'm gonna like this color. We're trying something out. Our paint may not stick because what I put on there is pretty thick. Bob Ross used to say thin paint sticks to a thick paint. This is not a Bob Ross style painting, but you know what? We're gonna take some of that wisdom and use it. A little bit of paint thinner. We're gonna put a little of this on the top of this nostril. Do we want to put some eyelids over the eyes? I may have to mess with this a little bit until I get it right. You do the same thing. So I'm not liking the shape of top of the eyelid here. We're going to take some of that off. We're going to go in a different direction for the eyelid. Looks like one eyelid should be on this tree trunk to me. At least this is what I'm seeing. And the other eyelid should be coming off of that main trunk. Let's add our dark tree color back, and let's take this eyelid on this side this way. Put a little highlight there, grab a little of our brown, that off, come back into our black. If I go over something that I didn't want to get rid of, like I just put some highlight over a dark area where the black was, I'm grabbing a little black and I'm putting that little line in. You're not seeing everything that I'm doing, but I'm trying to tell you what I'm doing as I'm doing it. Your individual painting will be different. You get the idea. You got something you like, stick with it. And if you're doing something new, like putting a face on it, and you happen to make, not a mistake, but you go over something you wanted to keep, just go back and fix it. There, a little more character on the mouth, a little more character. Adding in a few more things, a few highlights here and there. Just stuff I see when I stand back. And hopefully I'm not ruining what I already have. Hopefully it's adding to it. That would be the idea, in theory, as I say. Hope you guys are having fun. Thank you again so much for joining me, hanging out. We're just having fun. Sometimes things are a little too bright. They pop a little too much. You got too much white or something in there. You know, you're wanting a highlight, but it's too much. Take a dry brush and rub that over it, and it'll tone it down just a little bit. It'll take that brightness off. We're gonna move on to this tree over here. Gonna do the same kind of thing. I'm gonna grab some darks first, kind of make an outline for a eyelid over the eyes here. Using the dark sienna, not going real dark. Gives me a base color. I'm just going back and forth between a little Indian yellow, a little white, a little of the brown. I'm getting the general idea of what this tree is starting to look like, and it's something we can work with. I just keep standing back, see if I still see that face and what kind of a character it's turning into. And I'm thinking this side over here might be the brightest. I want to change the shape of the mouth just a little. I know I've got eye sockets. I didn't really put eyes in there, and I'm kind of afraid to. I guess what we could try is putting a white dot, something like that. Kind of scary, but it is a haunted forest, right? Haunted forest. Wizard of Oz. I don't think the movie trees were quite this, well, they were pretty scary. You know, it's been a while since I've watched Wizard of Oz. Now, we only did these 2 trees. I'm not going to do faces on all the trees. I was debating on this one. It's a little small, but we'll just put the indication that there's a face back here on this one. I think we're going to use alizarin crimson, maybe a little black to start out with. Put a couple on this side. And again, I'm using alizarin crimson mixed with a little bit of midnight black. Looks pretty good. I think we need the bright red. I'm just putting the bright red kind of at the top and on one side. If our bright spot is back here, then I'm going to say one side of the apple is kind of catching light. You figure out in your painting which side that is and just be consistent. It's either snowing or raining outside. It was rain earlier today and it's trying to turn to snow. Some of these are already next to branches that look like it could hold them. We'll just connect them like that. I suppose what we could do is put an apple or 2 on the ground. Maybe one laying in these flowers here. We'll just add a little shadow underneath. I'm just grabbing some of that color and pulling backwards. Let's go into our red. Well, there we go. I don't need to sign it. It's already signed, but this was a fun addition episode. We took a painting that was pretty much done and a friend said, put some faces and some apples on there. Again, thank you, Cosette. It was a great idea. I was already thinking in my head about possibly doing that. And then I thought, well, I don't know if I want to mess with it. What if I screw it up? You know what? If you do, you do. Sometimes you just got to try things. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Those of you that are returning, thank you again. I appreciate each and every one of you. I will see you on the next episode. Bye-bye.